Detective Pikachu is directed by Rob Letterman and stars Justice Smith as a young man named Tim Goodman. Tim travels to Rhyme City, a place where Pokemon and humans coexist, after learning about the death of his estranged father, Detective Harry Goodman. It's up to Tim and his father's Pokemon partner Pikachu, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, to solve the case that got Harry killed. To clue you guys in on my relationship with Pokemon, I would say that I don't really have one. Of course, I knew of it. I watched a couple episodes of the animated series. I know that I saw the first movie at some point, but I never really collected the cards, and I never really played any of the games because my parents never got me any Nintendo shit. Because they're evil and don't want me to have fun things. So if you want the die-hard Pokemon fan's opinion, you're not gonna get it here. Despite that, even as someone who's not a fan, I can say that I enjoyed Detective Pikachu quite a bit. The world that this movie puts on display is meticulously detailed and very absorbing. And if I thought seeing this fun, interesting, and enchanting world on screen was absorbing, I can't imagine what it would mean to a die-hard fan of this property. I just dig the look of this movie, period. It takes the setting of a detective story very seriously. The low-key lighting used in the film makes it look like one of the crime noirs of early Hollywood. And its use of color reminded me a lot of something like Blade Runner, which is another movie that's trying to mimic the look of these old detective movies. The dialogue even mimics that style of film at times. Most specifically with the character of Lucy, played by Kathryn Newton. You know, she's the fast-talking investigative journalist who's always on the look for a good scoop. And she even talks like that in this movie, which I found really charming. It shows me that the film respects its roots as a detective story as much as it respects its roots as a Pokemon movie. Speaking of it being a Pokemon movie, I think everything it does with the Pokemon, once again, coming from someone who's not a huge fan of the property, I found it to be really fun. Seeing Pokemon battle on the big screen in live action is something I'm sure that hardcore fans of this property have been dying to see, and this movie delivers on that. I wish there was more of it, but the battles that are there are really well done. Okay, so now I think it's finally time to talk about the man of the hour. The cute, the fluffy, the incomparable Pikachu. I mean, here's the thing about him. He's Pikachu. He's fucking awesome. He's voiced by Ryan Reynolds, also pretty awesome. Here's the thing, if you've seen the trailers for this movie and you think it's really not your thing, it's probably not your thing. If you don't want to see a cute little Pikachu solving crimes and making quips, you probably don't want to see this movie. And that's maybe one of the big problems I have with this movie. While it's a lot of fun and there's a lot of cool stuff going on, I feel like there's not a whole lot going on underneath the surface. It's got a really good heart, it's very sweet. I even got a little choked up at a moment or two, but at the end of the day, it's not a movie that I'm going to be thinking about the themes of for the next month or so. The characters are done well enough. There's a fair amount of dimension to each of them, which is nice. Makes you want to follow them. Decent performances all around. The villain could have used some work. I feel like their motivations are a little confusing and nonsensical, and it really hurts the third act of the movie. Which I would say that the third act is the weakest part of the movie. You know, it's a little bit messy. It's not as high stakes as you would want it to be. And I think a lot of that has to do with how the villain's handled. Even though I had those problems, I will say that I enjoyed Detective Pikachu on the whole, and I do think Pokemon fans will do the same. I think little kids and animal lovers are going to go nuts over this movie. You know, I think it's just a solid family film that is nice if you're looking for something to break up all your viewings of Endgame, which I really hope that Endgame doesn't completely destroy Pikachu at the box office, because I really would like to see more of this world, which I think is a pretty high compliment to the film itself. I want to see more stories told in this world. I give Detective Pikachu a 3 out of 5. I think it's honestly a really good intro for like little kids or people who want to get into detective movies in the context of like a big studio blockbuster. You know, without it being Blade Runner, because you can't show that to 5-year-olds. Or Roger Rabbit, because even though it's the best, you can't show that movie to 5-year-olds either. It's kind of fucked up. So what did you guys think of Detective Pikachu? I'd love to hear from some more hardcore Pokemon fans on what they thought of this movie and if it respects the lore or anything like that. I definitely think this is the best video game movie that's ever been made. I mean, we all know that that's not a tough competition, but it's really good. I liked it a lot. I had a good time. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my Twitter and Instagram accounts, which I will have links for down in the description. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.